Richard was excited about starting at Cosens MMA back when he was 8 years old because he had been here watching his brother do it for a couple of months, and he knew that that's just something he really wanted to do. He wanted to learn the moves and to become really good at it, and it's helped him grow immensely. Our first impression of Cosens MMA was that it was going to be a really good program for both boys. Richard enjoys order, and he likes to learn new things and kind of know things that other people maybe don't know. So it was a good thing for him to kind of help make him special, and he enjoys it because he knows something that not everybody else that he goes to school with knows.
When Richard first started, Richard and his brother Robbie, I'm not shy to say that they were a bit of a handful. They required a lot of instructor attention, we'll say. And since then, both him and his brother have really turned over a new leaf, and they are leaders now. They were part of our leadership team. They still are part of our leadership team, and I would be completely okay with him taking a little ninja and saying, you know what, Mr. Richard, go teach that little ninja some moves, and I'm very confident that he can teach them and expand their knowledge as well. So it's awesome to see a black belt that can not only perform techniques but also teach them and pass it along, because in my opinion that's what a black belt really is.
When I first started, I got confused of what we were doing in the black belt club. I thought it was a little bit confusing to what the little ninjas were doing, so I had to get used to it to get in the mood and try to keep up with everybody.
When Richard first started, I should say when I first started at Cosens MMA, let's just say I've had a lot of mat chats with him. He a lot of times would burst out into anger. You couldn't leave him and his brother near each other because they would fight, and a lot of times he could be a big problem. But we continued to work with him, and he started to open up, and he was always willing to learn and listen and try and improve as long as we would work with him on things. And so that's what I've liked about him the most, is that he's been able to take coaching to heart. He's been a very motivated student and always looking to improve.
I thought that it was cool that we get belts and stuff, and we get to achieve goals, like getting the black belt.
Richard's biggest victory, there's probably a couple. The first one I would say is when he joined leadership team. It helped him become a more fluent speaker. It helped him to understand. He was taught how the coaches teach the class and what methods that they use to teach the class. And that helped Richard, because then when he was in class, he kind of knew what they were doing and why they were doing the things they were doing. And he's a very literal thinker, so that I think assisted him in his regular classes as well. I think he's definitely more confident in speaking in front of groups of people or reading out loud in class. He's not afraid to introduce himself to somebody new, and I attribute a lot of that to the leadership team. Another big accomplishment that Richard has had is when he started doing competitions last year. He was very nervous the first time. He didn't know if he was going to be good enough or if he knew enough, and I knew that he knew a lot because he's been here for so long. But I think it was a good idea to do the competitions for him, because it helped him to realize, when he did well in the competition, it helped him realize that he does know how to apply these techniques, and it's not just coming to class and seeing your friends and playing around. He definitely knows how to apply things, and he's done well, and he's doing better every time he goes, and I think that just does nothing but help his confidence raise.
I think something big that's changed for him, when he's out there on the mat, he used to get frustrated and he'd shut down or even go off into being angry. But now I can see if he starts to get sort of angry, he knows how to control it. And especially leading up to his black belt test, he's had more and more control, to the point where when he gets upset, I can just look at him and he understands that's important for him to control his anger, and he can get over things much more quickly.
Richard's relationship with his brother has definitely grown since he started at Cosens MMA. When they first started, we weren't able to let them be partners in class because they couldn't handle it. They would screw around and joke and laugh a lot and not necessarily focus on the things they were supposed to focus on. It does still happen now and then, but it definitely happens less frequently. And now they work together because they know that by doing the right thing and putting effort in, that they're helping each other get better, and that they just want to help their brother grow.
Richard has a very bright future in front of him. He is very dedicated, and when I worked with him, especially when we went on our 2-mile run there in below 10-degree weather, he really showed me that he has heart and dedication. We were talking about some things about keeping his vision in mind and his goals, and he really impressed me that he really dug deep, he took to it, he really understood it. He's told me that he can really see this black belt around him, and that just showed me that he's a very good person to learn from everything that's around him, everything that he's feeling, he's going through. He is learning from it. He's come a long way from the little ninja program to the black belt club, and he's really going to use this in all areas of his life, and I can just already tell because he has that mindset. He won't give up, that drive, that passion that's going to take him places.
Richard's journey towards his black belt, even though it began 4.5 years ago when he started here at Cosens MMA, it really, I think, became a reality in the last 6 months or so, 6 to 12 months, as he's been doing some lessons with the coaches to make sure that he's really on top of all the moves and going to the competitions and just becoming more serious in general in the MMA day to day. I think it affects how he looks at his schoolwork. He made the honor roll for his first trimester in 6th grade, and that was a pretty big deal. He struggled a little bit last year, and so this year it was a really big accomplishment for him.
My biggest victory was my first belt, which was the yellow striped and white, and I thought I could do anything if I put my mind to it. And when I did my next belt, I just like got excited and got encouraged.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Awesome.
You believed in yourself more. You knew you could do it. If somebody was to ask me, is it worth it to do the black belt, or are you glad you did it? I definitely am. I think that for both boys, Robbie will be getting his hopefully in the next few months, and I think for both boys it's done nothing but give them positive things in their lives. It's given them direction and goals, and at times it can be hard, and like I said before, sometimes they do waver and they go, I don't want to go today. But overall, achieving their goal is more important than sitting on the couch that day. So they choose MMA, and if they don't choose it that day, I choose it for them.
Yeah.
So it's a commitment that they make, and we believe that if you make a commitment to something, that you follow through. So if you have a child in the program and you aren't sure if you want to keep them in long enough to get their black belt, I can definitely see the difference in Richard in the last few months, now that the black belt is achievable and it's there and he can see it so close, that all of the time that we've put in the last 4.5 years has been worth it, because he is now getting that thing that nobody can ever take away from him.
Awesome. So if I were to give him some sort of advice, okay, my advice to you, thank you for asking me questions. If I was to give Mr. Richard some advice, I would tell him, or I should say, Mr. Richard, if I were to give you some advice, I would tell you that it's important you never stop growing, and you never stop trying to reach out and help other people. Because if you keep putting your eyes on other people like you've learned to do, you're going to find that you're very fulfilled, and it's going to make you a better person overall. So you've done a great job growing into the person you are today, and I have no doubts you're going to do great things.
I hope that by Richard achieving his black belt at this age, it'll teach him that with hard work and dedication that you can achieve just about anything. The hardest thing that he's dealt with so far in preparing for his black belt is definitely the 1.5 mile run in January in Michigan. And he started out thinking he couldn't do it, and then he did it a few times in very good time. And then he had a rough day and he's doubting himself again, but I know, and he knows, I think deep down, that all he has to do is keep applying himself. And then once he does that and he passes this test, I think he's going to feel like he can do just about anything.
Never lose that drive and passion, because he uses it at times and it gets him to all of his goals. So when he rolls, you kind of have to spark his interest a little bit more and push him, and then he succeeds after that, and it's also what takes him through those tough times. And I know that life can be tough sometimes, and that will definitely carry him through. It's easier to be pulled towards your goals rather than pushing towards them, and I think he's kind of found that.
The advice that I have for you, Mr. Richard, is that you've worked so hard, you've built up to this black belt, and it's been an awesome journey. It's been very enjoyable for you, right? Because you always felt yourself moving forward, progressing, and successing, and feeling success. And now we're at the epitome of our belting system for a youth student. So it feels really good. But remember that what got you here was that constant feeling of success, and that is what really feels good. The black belt's important and everything. But remember that it doesn't end here. You have to continue forward. Whatever you're doing in life, we always have to work to get better and better and better. And that's really the secret to life, is that feeling of success and progression.
When I come to martial arts, I feel like that I'm so special that I could do anything.
That's awesome.
That was a